and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be extremely different than what I usually do, but let me tell you why. So something that I'm very passionate about and something that I've loved to do and is one of my favorite hobbies ever since I was a child is reading. And I love to talk about books, and I also love to read on flights. That's one of my favorite times to read because I find that when I'm working and stuff like that, I sometimes don't have the time to really sit down and read. But when I'm on a flight, it's uninterrupted time that I can just read my heart out. So I was talking this weekend with a couple girlfriends, and we were just discussing books and stuff, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I get on my channel and suggest some books that I like for you guys to read while you guys are on your travels, whether you're on a beach and you just need a really good book, if you want something really fast-paced for a flight that keeps you entertained. I understand that struggle of finding a new book, so I figured maybe this would be a fun way that I could kind of put two of my favorite things together, traveling and reading. So I am going to talk about books today that are recent reads for me that I suggest, so let's go ahead and jump on into the first one. Okay, so this is my most recent read. I read this while I was in Ireland, and I loved it. It is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book is phenomenal. Taylor Jenkins Reid is a really popular author. You may have heard of her before. She has numerous books out, but a couple recent really good bestsellers, and this is one of them. So let me try to describe this book without giving anything away. Evelyn Hugo is a Hollywood icon from like the 1950s era, and this is obviously fiction, by the way. But the story is about a Hollywood icon from the 1950s and her struggle and her like aspirations and how she made it through life, and also how the story of how she became famous and how she also had 7 husbands. And when you think of, well, the first thing I thought of when I saw this book is, wow, this girl, she's married 7 people. Woo, like what's wrong with her, you know? It's totally not like that at all. Like whatever you have and whatever you're thinking of in your mind, just push it away, because I promise it's not what you think. This was a beautiful, beautiful book. It's a gorgeous love story. It's totally different. I can't even explain to you how different it is than what it just looks. Obviously, Evelyn Hugo is not real, but it was so real to me. My next book is The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris, and this is about World War II and about this man who is deemed the tattooist in the Auschwitz killing and concentration camp, and this beautiful love story. It's the ultimate story of survival. It's gorgeous. It's such a fast read. You just want to keep on reading this. I actually read this on my way to Vegas for Thanksgiving, and I read it completely on one plane ride because I just like had to keep going. Okay, so my next book might be a little controversial. If you've heard of it, you'll know why. If not, I'm not going to go into the controversy of it because that's just not what I do on this channel. But this is Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance, and I flew through this book. I loved this book, and the reason why I loved it is because this gentleman grew up in the hollers of Kentucky, and his family is from Eastern Kentucky. If you know me, I'm from Kentucky. My whole mom's side of the family is from Eastern Kentucky, so this really hit home for me. And it's basically the story, this is a memoir, so it is real life non-fiction. It is the story of his upbringing and how he grew up in this town in Kentucky, but also in this town in Ohio, and how he kind of made it. It's a phenomenal story, especially if you have connections to Kentucky. Highly suggest this book. So good if you're interested in this type of thing. I love it. Okay, so here is my next book. It is My Lady Jane by Cynthia Han, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. And this book is actually pretty long. It's around 500 pages, I think just under it. But I read this in 2 days, which is pretty good considering I have a really hectic life and a busy schedule. So obviously I was extremely interested in this book once I started it. But this is more of like a young adult fantasy magical book, if you guys are into that. If you can't tell, I love literally every genre as long as it's a good book. So this is about Lady Jane Grey and King Edward. If you guys are unaware, King Edward was the son of King Henry VIII, which is like literally my favorite time of English history. I just love that so much. But this story is about them. And if you don't know about Lady Jane Grey, she was the queen for like 8 days or something like that. But I can't really say much more other than that because it is just like a really interesting book and I would give away stuff, but this is like a fast, more fun read. It's not like gonna change your life or anything like that, if that makes sense. It's just a really fun read, super fast paced, exciting, has really, really good characters, is super funny actually. And if you guys like young adult books, you'll really, really enjoy this one. Okay, so my last book that I'm going to talk about, I saved the best for last, people. And this is like, I'm actually going to include the whole series just because it's that good. So this book is Pines by Blake Crouch. I love Blake Crouch. He is by far one of my favorite authors. I've already read 5 books from him and I just learned about him last year. So yes, I really, really love him. But this series I really, really like because these are extremely fast books to read. I actually read the second book in this series, but here are all 3 of them. I actually read the second book in the series on my flight to Turks and Caicos, and I was flying through it so fast that I actually had to stop it and make sure that I had something to read on the way home. It was that good. So let me talk to you guys about kind of like what this series is about. It's insane. I literally can't say much because it gives away too much. But basically, long story short, is that this book is about an FBI agent named Ethan who goes to this town called Wayward Pines on a mission because his formal FBI partner has gone missing in this town. And his boss is asking him, you know, we need to find her. I believe her name is Kate, if I remember correctly. So he has been sent on this mission to find Kate in this town. So he gets to this town and basically nothing is as what it seems it is. And that's all I can say because it is insane. It's like, the way I can describe it without going into too much detail is that it's a kind of post-apocalyptic, kind of dystopian. Definitely has some sci-fi in there, but it is also a little bit of a thriller too because you're just like on the edge of your seat and there is like a little bit of blood and stuff going on. So if you're queasy about that, don't read it. But oh my god, this book is so good. Oh, I just loved it so much. It's just like a fun, exciting, thrilling series. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's like life-changing like some books are, but oh my god, you guys have to read this. If you're looking for something that's like super fast-paced, you can finish this book in one plane ride, this is it, guys. So there you go, guys. If you guys have any suggestions or any fast-paced reads or any just really good, thrilling, exciting reads, please comment down below. I love, love, love to look up all the books, and I'll make sure to put my Goodreads down below if you guys are interested. If you guys have one of those, you can add me as a friend on there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys don't like reading, then I apologize. These videos won't be like super, super frequent, so don't worry if you just want to skip over them. I totally understand. But anyway, happy reading and happy travels!